Hey, what's up, guys? Rath here with the DFS Minute PM edition around 6:25 Eastern tonight, May 19, 2015. Huge slate of games tonight. As I said, plenty of pitching and plenty of hitting to pick from. So it's probably been one of the best research days that I can remember in daily fantasy baseball in quite some time. It just seems like there's so many different ways that you can go. There's a lot of value out there, a lot of guys in good spots, good pitching options. Not a ton of value pitching options tonight, but I think there's one guy that's starting to bubble up on the radar for me a little bit. So we'll talk about him and go down. Now I'm gonna hit you with some DraftKings and FanDuel tonight, and so get your pens and paper ready. We're gonna start off with FanDuel actually because that's just what I got up, and I did play a little bit over there today, and I will tell you this. The pricing is soft. I'm not complaining. I'm just making a strategy observation. It is soft pricing. What that means is pay up for pitching and then also look for a balanced lineup. There's no need to go stars and scrubs, in my opinion, on FanDuel tonight or lately. So let's go down some guys. I'm on the same guys I was on this morning. Liriano and Shields, to me, are the two guys you've got to have in cash games, 50-50 heads-ups tonight. You get a little bit of a salary break where you're not paying top shelf for Cueto and Gray. I don't like paying top shelf on the road. There is potential issues with weather with the KC Cincinnati, but it looks like we're going to be in the clear. But I just, when it comes to home versus road, unless I'm getting an extreme edge on park or opposing lineup, I'm going to try to lean towards the guys at home. I'm going to try to lean towards the guys in the National League. So for me, I'm looking at Liriano and Shields as my top two plays tonight in 50-50s and heads-ups on FanDuel. Now, on DraftKings, I think you can drop down and go with Sanchez because of price. So I don't have a problem going Liriano, Shields, and Sanchez there. You can mix and match one of the three. I'm not on Gray tonight, and I'm not on Cueto. I'm just looking to save a little bit of money, and I don't like the spots. That's not to say I don't think those guys are going to pitch good. I just think there's better value in those other pitchers that I talked about. At catcher tonight, the cheap guy that I like is Robinson Chirinos. Now, he is hitting way deep in the lineup. I believe he's hitting 8th. But he is a tournament play for me because he is going against a lefty and does have opportunity to hit a home run. The guy that everybody's on today pretty much locked in is probably Russell Martin. And I think he's just got a great matchup hitting in the middle of that lineup. It does look like, when you've got Toronto right-handed bats at home going against a left-handed pitcher, you're pretty much going to want to get some action on that. So Russell Martin's the guy on either site that I'm looking at. You can definitely play. At first base on FanDuel especially, boy, there's a couple of guys I'm looking at. David Ortiz at 2.9. I know he hasn't been hitting. More of a tournament option for me. But, man, David Ortiz at 2.9 going against a weak right-handed pitcher. That run total is through the roof right now. And Ortiz usually mashes right-handed pitching at home. So I like the spot. I like the price. I still can't believe he's 2.9. But, he, like I said, he hasn't been hitting, so he's a tournament play for me. I definitely would not use him in 50-50s and heads-ups. The guy that I would use on FanDuel in 50-50s and heads-ups is Freddie Freeman at 3.4, which is just highway robbery. So Freeman in cash, Ortiz in tournaments. And that pretty much is going to go for DraftKings as well. I'll get to some value plays on DraftKings, but these plays that I'm giving out are pretty much across the board. On any of the sites that are out there. I'm just giving out some FanDuel salaries because the pricing is pretty soft. Just want you guys to know, I don't think you should skimp here. Like, basically, I built some cash lineups on FanDuel tonight. You do not have to take 5 hitters pretty much. I mean, like, you can take 1, 2, 3, 4 hitters all day long, fit them in with a good pitcher, with Liriano, with Shields, and get guys that are hitting 1, 2, 3, or 4 and feel very safe and very comfortable. So I don't think there's any reason to take any risks, especially tonight in your 50-50s and heads-ups. I think you can build very solid lineups that should produce the 40 that you need to get in the money. And maybe a little bit more tonight because of the big slate, but I still think that you're going to be in good shape using that strategy. Let's talk about second base. Neil Walker is the value play today at 2.8. And D. Gordon is the guy you want to pay up at 3.8. D. Gordon hitting 420 on the year, hitting at the top of that lineup, going against a righty. Everything is tailor-made for D. Gordon at this point. You know, D. Gordon's got more value over on DraftKings because of the single stolen base premium. But in this spot on DraftKings, you don't want to pay up in a tournament, I think you can go ahead and do it. So he's in a really good spot. Third base, bargain bin, Danny Valencia, 2.3 on FanDuel, hitting fifth, going against a lefty. Looks like the Blue Jays are going to be in a big spot tonight, so Valencia is definitely a popular pick, and I can understand why. Two guys it looks like people are going to want to pay up for. You can be on either one of them. I think Adrian Beltre going against Wade Miley at 3.2 on FanDuel, and Josh Donaldson going against lefty up in Toronto. Josh Donaldson's at 3.6. So either one of those guys, lean towards Beltre if you need a salary relief. If you can squeeze Donaldson in, you absolutely want to get him in. It just, you want at least probably two Toronto bats in your lineup tonight. Probably Martin and Donaldson would be the two guys. If you don't go Donaldson or Beltre, then you want to get Valencia in there, but he's more of a tournament play for me. And unfortunately, both those guys are listed at third base on FanDuel, whereas on other sites you can mix and match positions and get them in. Shortstop, for me, it's a couple of guys. Elvis Andrus hitting second against Wade Miley. I think the Texas right-handed bats are in play tonight. Andrus, Beltre, Chirinos, and Kyle Blanks are all guys that I'm looking at in that game. And you've got Andrus is only at 2.6 hitting second. He's more of a cash game play. There's not a lot of upside there, but it's no downside as well. So if he can go out there and get you a 4 or 5 tonight, that's pretty good. I think Freddie Galvis is a guy. He's only 3.3. He's been hitting. I'm not in love with the Phillies-Rockies game tonight. I'm not going to have a lot of pieces in that game, but Galvis is the one guy that I think you're getting at a pretty good price on FanDuel at 3.3. Definitely somebody if you want to pay up. He's more of a tournament play for me, especially in that game. If you think that there's going to be a lot of runs scored, then definitely get a piece of that. In outfield, I think there's a ton of options tonight. I mean, we'll talk about bargain bin, Ryan Rayburn, obviously at 2.2, hitting in the middle of that lineup against a lefty. So that's pretty much always a guy that I'm going to look at. But he is a tournament play for me because you do not need to go cheap on bats. You can get bats between the 3 and 3.9 on FanDuel tonight all day long. Guys hitting 1 through 4, price between 3K and 3.9 on FanDuel all day long tonight. So there's no reason to go 2.2 in any of your heads-ups and 50-50s. So Rayburn, cash play for me. Kyle Blanks at 2.7, also cash play for me. Good power bat going against a lefty, Miley. Colabello would be the other guy that I think you can look at, right-handed, going against a lefty in that power environment in Toronto. So he's at 2.3. I'm not sure a lot of people are going to be on Colabello. I think people are going to want to stack the upper-tier Jays tonight. So Colabello might be a guy that gets left off the radar that you want to look at. As far as cash game outfielders, the number one guy for me tonight is Denard Span at 3.6, hitting at the top of that lineup. So I really like Span. He just cranks out numbers every single day, especially against right-handed pitching. And then you got Bryce hitting behind him, which means he's going to be able to drive him in. So you got to like Span in the spot. Anthony Ghost, again, recommended him last night, hit leadoff again. He's only 3.2 on FanDuel. Matt Holliday's a guy that I think is somebody you can look at. He's actually been the most consistent hitter in daily fantasy baseball this year as far as standard deviation goes. Doesn't have that huge upside, but he just doesn't have zeros. He always produces positive points. So he's somebody I think you can look at going against John Neese. Now, it's a very low-scoring game, low total, but he's so good that he's almost like a lock. You just want to lock tournament play for me. And then Charlie Blackmon at 4.0 would also be a tournament play for me. Guys that are hitting at the top of the lineup, facing weak pitching in good hitting environments, those are the guys that you want to target in your GPPs, in your tournaments, because you want to try to get extra base hits, RBIs, and also you're also looking for the home run potential, of course, especially on FanDuel, where the home runs are worth a little bit more in terms of the overall scoring. As far as DraftKings goes, the super cheap guys on DraftKings tonight that I like, two of them, Danny Valencia and Ryan Rayburn, I think are two guys you absolutely need to look at in tournaments and get those cheap guys in. Other guys I'm looking at that I haven't mentioned, Brad Miller would be a guy that I think you can look at on DraftKings, and then also David Peralta. Those are guys that are in that 3 to 4K range that I think have really good value on DraftKings. And then some big guys that you want to pay up for. I did pretty much mention everybody, but we're looking at Freeman, D. Gordon, Donaldson, Beltre, things like that. As far as pitching goes, I did talk about Liriano and Shields, and I did also mention that I think there's Anibal Sanchez is in play on DraftKings, absolutely, for sure. The other guy that's popping up on my radar is Jose Quintana, and it's really a situation where he's favored 140. The total was low. I believe it's 7.5 as of about 5 minutes ago. And he's really under the radar tonight as far as he is a pretty good favorite. The total is low, and I like the spot. So I think Jose Quintana is a guy for me that I'm looking at in tournament play tonight, and that I think you can get in and have success. So that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Want to wish everybody the best of luck in their contest. And as we always say here at Roto Curve, stay classy, DFS.